There is something quiet and unsettling about looking back at your financial life, not with shame, but with a puzzled softness. You might sit at the kitchen table one morning, watching the light stretch across your hands, and ask yourself, did I do it right? It is not always regret that rises. Sometimes it is just wondering. A wish that you could go back and talk to your younger self, maybe hand over a little more wisdom, a little more clarity. Money after 60 carries a different weight. It is not just dollars and cents. It becomes about freedom, security, peace. It becomes about whether you can sleep at night without that flicker of panic behind your eyes. You might wonder if you saved enough, or if you waited too long to enjoy the money you had. You might think about the gifts you gave, the help you offered, the moments you said yes when maybe you should have said not right now. And in all of that, there is a quiet question. What now? Because even if you cannot go back, you are still here. You are still learning. You still have choices. And if some of those choices were hard or unclear, you are not alone. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond carry these same silent thoughts. Today is not about blame. It is about compassion. You are allowed to grow. Even now, your past mistakes can become your present wisdom. If any part of that reflection felt familiar, then you are in the right place. We are going to walk gently through 5 financial mistakes that many people realize only after turning 60. Some may sound like your own experience. Others may help you avoid pain in the future. The goal is not to dwell on the past. It is to shine a light forward. Because no matter where you are in your journey, you can still make meaningful changes. These stories are here to guide, not to judge. So let us begin with openness, care, and a little more peace. Mistake number 1. I underestimated how long retirement would last. For many people, retirement used to mean slowing down for a decade or so, but today it often stretches across 20 or even 30 years. That is a beautiful thing in many ways. More time with family, more time to explore, more time to simply be. But it also means your money needs to last much longer than you might have expected. At first, retirement can feel like a gentle sigh of relief. The bills are manageable, there is enough in savings, and you might even treat yourself a little. But time passes, medical needs increase, costs rise, and slowly, you may start to see your savings shrink faster than you thought they would. Gloria, 74, retired at 62 with what she believed was a solid cushion. For years, she felt fine. But now, 12 years in, she is dipping into her savings in ways that make her anxious. She canceled a trip to visit her sister. She quietly asked her daughter for help with groceries. And though she keeps a brave face, there are nights she lies awake, worrying about the years still ahead. That feeling of watching your safety net stretch thinner each month can be deeply unsettling. It can feel like standing on a bridge you thought was solid, only to notice the boards creaking under your feet. But there is still time to reinforce that bridge. Start by getting clear on what you spend each month. You do not need spreadsheets or fancy apps. A notebook and honesty will do. Consider whether a part-time role, even just a few hours a week, might bring both income and purpose. And if you have not already, talk to a financial advisor who respects your stage of life. This is not about cutting out all joy. It is about making space for the years to come. You deserve to feel safe and steady, even as the road continues. Let us keep walking forward with care. Mistake number 2. I put off talking to my kids about money. There are some conversations that sit like stones in the back of your mind. You know they matter, you know they need to happen, but the words feel heavy and the timing never feels quite right. Talking about money with your adult children is one of those conversations. You might tell yourself, they do not need to know the details, or I do not want to worry them. Maybe you were raised to believe that money matters should stay private. You handle your own business, keep your head down, and figure things out quietly. But while your silence may be meant to protect, it can leave your family unprepared and confused when life changes suddenly. Harold, 76, had always been careful with his money. He prided himself on being independent. His pension covered most expenses, and he had a little saved for emergencies. But when he needed an expensive surgery, the out-of-pocket costs drained his small cushion faster than he expected. To keep things afloat, he began skipping medications, delayed dental care, and quietly borrowed against his life insurance. His son, Michael, had no idea. It was only when Harold's power was shut off after a missed bill that the truth came spilling out. Michael was heartbroken, not just because his father was struggling, but because he had been suffering in silence. "Why didn't you just tell me?" he asked. "I thought we talked about everything." Harold, eyes low, said softly, "I didn't want to be a burden." This is the deep fear. So many older adults carry the fear of being a problem, of taking something away from their children, but often it is the silence itself that causes pain. Children want to help. They want to know your wishes, your needs, your limits. When those things go unspoken, love has no direction. You do not have to open the books and share every number. You do not have to have all the answers. What matters is starting. A conversation can be as simple as saying, "I've been thinking about the future, and I'd feel better if you knew where things stand." You can talk about what you hope for, what you're afraid of, and what kind of support you might or might not need someday. Even if your kids do not live nearby, even if they are busy, even if you think they already know, say it anyway. When families talk openly, they plan better, care better, and grieve with fewer regrets. You deserve that kind of peace. Let us now move to something just as tender, the way many people give and give to those they love, but forget to give anything to themselves. Mistake number 3. I spent too much on others and not enough on myself. There is a deep beauty in being generous. It feels good to help, especially when it is your children or grandchildren. Giving is often how we show love. It is how we say, "I see you, I believe in you, let me ease your path." And for many years, you may have found joy in that role. You were the one they could count on, the steady hand in hard times. But what happens when the giving becomes too much? When you start saying yes out of habit, even when it puts pressure on your own life? That shift can happen quietly. You do not even notice at first. A few extra bills, a promise to help just one more time, and before long, your own comfort begins to fade into the background. Denise, 68, has always been a giver. She helped her daughter through a divorce, paid for her grandson's braces, and even co-signed a loan when her niece lost her job. But this past year, Denise needed a small surgery, and she hesitated. She was short on funds after paying for her granddaughter's car insurance. So she waited. The pain grew worse. She told herself she was fine. She smiled for her family, but inside, she felt tired and invisible. "I do not regret helping," she said, "but I wish I had left something for me." That kind of reflection is not selfish. It is wise. Because you matter too. Your well-being, your health, your joy, these are not luxuries. They are necessities. And when you give without boundaries, you slowly disappear from your own life. You become the quiet helper, never asking, never receiving, always stretching just a little more than you should. There is no shame in creating space for yourself. Try setting aside even a small monthly amount just for something that brings you peace. A lunch with a friend, a new pair of shoes, a trip to the park with no responsibilities. Let it remind you that you are still here, still deserving. Loving others does not mean losing yourself. You can be generous and still keep something for you. Now, let us turn to a mistake many do not speak about, not because it is rare, but because it feels uncomfortable to face. The habit of avoiding the numbers altogether. Mistake number 4. I avoided looking at the numbers. Money is never just about money. It carries weight. It carries stories. For many people, especially after retirement, looking closely at financial details feels uncomfortable. You might avoid your bank account, skip reviewing statements, or leave unopened envelopes in a pile by the door. You tell yourself, "I will get to it later." But deep down, a small voice whispers, "What if I cannot fix it?" So, you look away. That avoidance becomes a habit, and it is easy to understand why. Maybe you were never taught how to manage money. Maybe you relied on a spouse to handle it for years. Or maybe life just kept moving, and numbers always felt too complicated. But when you stop looking, you also stop steering. Slowly, your financial life can drift into places you did not intend. Walter, 70, had always been a hard worker. He lived simply and trusted that everything would be okay. His wife had balanced the books during their marriage, but after she passed, Walter felt lost. He paid bills based on memory. He used his card without tracking what came out. He had no idea how much he was spending on groceries or takeout. When his rent went up by $75, it tipped everything out of balance. For the first time, Walter realized he did not actually know if he could make it through the month. He sat down, shaky hands and all, and looked through his accounts. It was not easy, but it was the beginning of something better. Looking at your numbers is not about judgment. It is about respect for your future, for your peace, and for the life you are still living. Set aside just 1 hour a month. Light a candle. Make a cup of tea. Create a gentle space where you can open your notebook or bank statement and simply see where things stand. And if it feels too big to face alone, ask someone to sit with you, a trusted friend, a family member, even a volunteer at a senior center. You are not foolish for needing help. You are wise for asking. Clarity is kindness. You deserve to understand your money, not to be afraid of it. Knowing where you stand gives you choices. It gives you strength. Now let us turn to one last lesson, perhaps the most powerful of them, all the belief that it is too late to learn something new. Mistake number 5. I thought it was too late to learn about money. As we grow older, a quiet voice sometimes creeps in. It whispers that the time for learning has passed, that financial tools, budgeting, or anything involving money is a young person's game, that if you did not figure it out by now, you probably never will. This voice does not shout, but it lingers. And over time, it convinces many older adults that it is simply too late to change, too late to ask questions, too late to learn. But that is not the truth. The truth is, learning does not belong to the young, it belongs to the willing. And no matter how many birthdays you have had, you are still allowed to learn new things that bring you peace, clarity, and strength. Margaret, 79, had always handled her money with care, but she had never ventured into digital banking or financial apps. Everything she did was on paper. One winter, a bill was lost in the mail. A late fee followed. She felt helpless and frustrated. That moment could have made her retreat further. But instead, she asked her grandson to help her learn how to bank online. At first, she was nervous. She worried about clicking the wrong thing, but slowly, with gentle guidance, she learned. Now, she checks her balances, pays bills, and even tracks her grocery spending from her tablet. I never thought I'd do this, she said, and now I feel like I finally know where I stand. That kind of confidence does not come from knowing everything. It comes from deciding you are still capable, still growing, still worthy of understanding your life, fully and clearly. You do not need to master every term or download every app. Begin with one question. One moment of curiosity. Ask someone you trust to explain something you have been avoiding. Bring a notebook to your next bank visit. Join a local workshop or ask your library if they offer senior tech help. These small steps open new doors. And when that voice returns the one that says, "It is too late, remember this," you are not behind, you are right on time. Learning now is still learning. And understanding your money is not about being perfect. It is about being present, empowered, and at peace. Let us now reflect on everything we have uncovered and find the deeper meaning in each step you have taken today. Looking back on the money decisions you have made is not easy. It stirs up feelings that run deeper than numbers ever could. You might carry a quiet regret, wondering if you should have planned more carefully. You might feel sad about the help you gave others when you had so little left for yourself. Or maybe you just feel overwhelmed by how much you still do not know. All of these feelings are real, and they are allowed. But here is something just as true. You are not defined by the mistakes you made. You are shaped by the wisdom you carry now. Every choice, even the painful ones, taught you something. And that knowledge is still useful. It can still help you make strong, gentle decisions from this point forward. Perhaps you now see the value of looking at your numbers instead of avoiding them. Perhaps you understand the importance of having honest talks with your children. Or maybe you realize, with a new kind of clarity, that it is time to save something for yourself, for your joy, your peace, your dignity. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are a person still growing, still learning, still becoming. There is something deeply brave about looking at your life and saying, I want to do better. Starting today. Let that be your strength. Not shame, not regret, but the quiet strength of someone who knows that their time is still precious and that their care, including financial care, matters deeply. The years ahead can still be steady, they can still be peaceful, and they can still be shaped by your wisdom. You are not alone on this path. If one of these lessons spoke to your heart today, I invite you to share it in the comments. Was there a moment you recognized in your own life? Your story might be the gentle encouragement someone else needs to hear. If this video brought you comfort or clarity, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps us grow this warm, supportive space for older adults and their families. And remember, learning never stops. Growth is always possible, no matter your age. Until next time, take gentle care.